Hey, we're the Texas KGB. I'm Kelly Green, the lead guitar player.
I'm Kody Lee, the drummer.
I'm Jace, the rhythm guitarist.
And this is Violet, our bass player. She's not here right now, but she's awesome.
Great, and then if you can just tell us what kind of music you play in case people are not familiar.
We play Americana that leans heavy on the rock and roll side. Also, do you want me to look at the camera or look at you?
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You've done a lot of like red carpet work.
Creepily stare at the camera the whole time, just intensely.
Yeah, and then can you just tell us the origins of Texas KGB, how you came up with the name? I know it's your name, but you know how you kind of settled. I know that's a big deal.
Yeah, wait, do you want to answer this one?
Sure. Yeah, well, the band settled down in Texas about 5 or 6 years ago, and then I came in and joined the group after that. And I just lost the train of thought. Sorry, let me try that again. Yeah, so the band was formed in Texas about 5 years ago, and it's named after Kelly. She's our lead guitarist, Kelly Green, and she doesn't really like to have the band just be about her because we all write and everything and we all sing, so she wanted it to be more of a group name, so we shortened it to KGB. So yeah, we're not rushing, but we were in a hurry to get here.
Do people get that confused? Like, what is?
I mean, people usually ask us when they first meet us, but once we tell it, oh, it's Kelly Green, they go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then can you guys talk about brother and sister, how it is working with a sibling?
Yeah.
I know your dad was also a musician, and you started with music really young. Can you talk about what it was like growing up, being a musical family?
Of course. Yeah, we were raised in Georgia, up in the mountains, and we were just surrounded by music our entire youth. Like you said, like our dad's a lead guitar player as well. He's been playing for years and years, ever since we were growing up.
So we both wanted to be musicians.
Yeah, we're just a couple years apart too, so we're just at that perfect age to be able to play around together most of our lives.
But my dad bought him a guitar first, and I was really mad. So I was like, I'm going to take that guitar and not let him play it like a mean older sister. And then I was like, yeah, I'm the guitar player, so just accept that. And so he plays drums.
Yeah. My dad had a really nice red pearl drum set when I was growing up, though. So when I was 5 years old, he's like, here, this is going to be your kit. It's yours. You can go at it. So I fell in love with it. Didn't even think about guitar after that.
And then you went on tour with your dad as well, and you came to Austin during South by, and you fell in love with Austin.
Yeah, we played a couple shows for South by. We were just like touring around, and it was the end of the tour. We landed here, and it was so awesome. We didn't want to leave. So Jace was actually with me when we first got here, and we just never left.
That's me.
Yeah, and then I read in the bio that you actually picked up music late. Can you talk about how that came to be and
Yeah.
your life?
I am not from a family that's full of musicians. They're just so it was kind of weird for me to find music initially as a kid, and sports was really big. And then when I was about 22, 23, we we were overseas and found a guitar. That was really cool, and a buddy of mine taught me a few chords, and I just fell in love with it, and I ended up started writing and just found music extremely pleasing.
And I'm guessing you were just a natural at it, or did it take a while?
I worked my butt off, and I don't think you ever stop though. You should just you practice constantly, and you're trying to just get better at whatever it is. And music was just one of those things that it was something that I enjoyed, it being difficult to get. So it's cool. I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, and then can you guys talk about how you guys all came together? Obviously, sister,
How did the band form?
Well, I'm the last part of the story, really.
Okay, so I was on the road with my dad, and Jace was also in a band with my dad, and we were just touring around the United States, and the band kind of dismembered here in Austin. It was like the end of the tour. We were kind of like all going different directions. So Jace and I started the Texas KGB, and my brother finished college like shortly after the band was formed, and he came out and played a lot of saxophone and percussion when he first came out. And then moved to drums. And then our bass player, who you don't see, who's amazing and beautiful and brilliant, she answered an ad on Craigslist. We were looking for a bass player, and she responded. We kind of put it up as a joke on Craigslist, like, "Oh, what creepos are we gonna get?" And this like 7-foot Asian, beautiful like woman answered, and we were like, "This is not real," but it was real, and she's been in the band for a year. So, yeah, yeah. Can you-
That's pretty much it.
Awesome, wonderful.
Awesome. And then if you guys can talk before I get into the album, what are some of your individual influences and also your favorite artists that you kind of draw inspiration from?
We were raised a lot heavily on like early 60s and 70s rock, and like the Beatles are my all-time favorite. Like they're just so melodic and just artful and just beautiful, you know. So I really draw a lot of inspiration from that, and like David Bowie, like that 60s 70s beautiful rock era, you know, it's really my home.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a huge like Eagles fan, or like Joe Walsh, and we were raised on Kiss a lot,
Yeah.
so I love Kiss. But also, I don't know. There's a lot of really great bands out there. Obviously you can't be in Austin and not mention Stevie Ray Vaughan. He was a huge influence of ours growing up. So, but Jace likes weird music.
By weird, I guess I like everything. It's kind of growing up, everyone I knew listened to something completely different, and no one really had like a clique where everyone got together and like listened to the same kind of stuff. Everyone just was, hey, listen to this, or you know, occasionally. And so it kind of was like everything from Marvin Gaye to Johnny Cash.
Your first albums were though, like the first CDs.
So my parents didn't know what I wanted musically to be into. So for Christmas one year, I got Prince's Diamonds and Pearls, Pearl Jam's Animal, and Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back. And I love them all differently. It was actually kind of cool because like that's like stuff like that. Like I would just listen to everything and kind of go, okay, well, wasn't sure if I liked it or didn't like it. I would just try to listen to everything and figure it out from there.
And Violet loves Wham and Wham alone.
Nothing but Wham. Wham all the time.
Wham.
Wham on.
So you released songs in the key of pain part 1. So I'm curious, your new album's Welcome Home. Is there not a part 2, or is that coming later?
We were going to do a part 2, but part 1 was just the 3 of us. And when we added Violet to the band, we really found our sound. So it was kind of hard to follow it up. So it's kind of like what is the name of the movie?
Yeah, it really just felt kind of like a new beginning, so we just felt like we needed a nice fresh start.
Yeah. So,
There could be a part 2.
yeah, there could be a part 2 one day.
Yeah, and then can you talk about where Welcome Home came from? I know all of you guys contributed the songwriting.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, Welcome Home started with the song Welcome Home, and it's about North Georgia mountains where my brother and I grew up and were raised. And there's another song on the album that's also written about Georgia, which is called Frangela, and it's about a couple of hippies from the North Georgia mountains. Their names are Fred and Angela, and they throw this awesome party every year called Fred Stock. And we actually filmed Welcome Home on the property where we were raised, and that's where they still live today. So if you want to check that out, it's online on YouTube. But it's a really fun video, and yeah. So that's how the album started anyway. But we all contributed and wrote music for it. Jace wrote a song called "The Way," which
Well, we're up in Wyoming, right?
yeah, it was the last song before the album was finished. And yeah, do you want to?
I was unfortunately slow putting together an actual song for this album. It just nothing came to me, and I have a very slow writing process like that. I have a hard time forcing it, and it just doesn't, if it doesn't feel right. And but this song was just about going to the top of a mountain, and after you come down, which I wrote this song called Little Cold that was on Songs in the Key of Pain Part 1. That was about going up to the top. But this one it's cool. This one was just about coming down and just how that can make you feel and kind of like show you the way, just kind of how life can be difficult. So I like to write sad songs. She's more of the happy, sometimes, style.
What are some of your, do you guys have a favorite song from the album besides the one you wrote?
Honestly, Violet's songs are so beautiful. I love playing them. She has unique chord structure and fun harmonies. So, Deeper, which is the next to last song on the album, is one of my personal favorites to play and listen to. And we also had a friend of hers, now a friend of ours, Deuce Bennett, play B3 organ and Rhodes on it. So it's the only thing we added to the album that wasn't just the four of us that we, it just kind of had to be there. It was like, this guy's awesome. We got to do this.
And then how long does it take you how long did this album take? Do you guys always get together, or is it individually, and then bring it all together and see what works and what doesn't?
This one, we weren't really like setting out to put together an album. It just like I wrote Welcome Home and Burnt Spoons like within a week of each other. And then Kody and I wrote Funk 69, just kind of jamming around the house. And Violet came in, and originally we were just going to do Deeper on the album. And Jace and I finished writing The Way in Jackson Hole. So the album was kind of like 6 songs, boom, we're done. But while we were in Jackson Hole, we spent like 2 weeks up there playing 6 nights a week. And one of the guys that comes out was a roadie for Leonard Skinner, and his name is Tommy the Toolbox. And Violet played this song that she'd wrote years before that, and he came up to us after we played it, the very first night we ever played it, and was sobbing, like crying. We were like, whoa, man, is everything cool? And he was like, no, tell me that song is going to be on the next album. We were like, no, maybe, this is the first time we've ever played it. And he goes, that song has to be on this album, like sobbing. And we were like, wow, if Tommy the Toolbox says it's got to be on the album. And of course he relates everything back to Leonard Skinner, but he was like, that's your Tuesday's gone. And I just thought that was such a sweet compliment coming from this guy that I was like, okay. And now I'm really happy we put it on the album.
Where does love go?
Yeah, Where Does Love Go?
Was there anything that you guys learned about yourselves doing this album? Personal? I thought you had.
I think every time we learned something for this band, for this album particularly, was that Violet's addition to the band was actually really cool, because we did very much lock onto a very unique sound and a very unique style, and it's because we're so different. I mean, they have some similarities, but even within what they like to listen to, there's still some. They both really go outside the box, and like Violet's different, and all of what we then bring to like the actual songs themselves just somehow fits together, and it's really cool every time that actually happens, because it's such a mystery how that works. You don't really know, putting different styles together, how that's gonna fit every time. So that's what I learned.
I learned that writing about things I know are way easier than trying. Like, Frangela started off as a pirate song. I was like, I'm gonna write a song about pirates, and I had like almost a whole song written, and I was like, this just feels forced. And then all of a sudden, this line popped in my head: "Full moon over Georgia tonight," and I was like, boom. It was like, boom. It was like I lived in Georgia. I love Georgia. The scenery, the people. It was like, okay, the whole song just came so quickly. So I learned just to write about what I know. Did you learn anything?
What did I learn? Well, upon reflection, I learned not to submit the album art until you put everyone's names on the credits, because we almost left someone off. We were like, oh no. At the last second, it was like, how did we leave a name off? And thankfully, we got it in before it was all submitted. But it was right at the last possible deadline. We were still just, got to pay attention. Small details, they matter. That's what I learned.
And then, obviously, Austin's live capital music of the world. Do you have a favorite venue that you perform here? And what do you think it is about Austin that kind of gives the music scene its importance in other cities?
We love a lot of the venues here. One of our favorites that people can come see us at, like what I think is a good show for other people, is Saxon Pub. It's intimate, the sound's really good, the staff is really nice, and that's a place that I'm always excited for people to come see us. Also, One to One Bar, the sound there is phenomenal, and they always treat people really well. So those are two of my personal favorite venues.
like to give a shout out to Tom's Hot Dog Cart because we did a show in front of them at Zilker Park, and it was awesome.
That was one of our first shows in Austin.
And we
Thomas's Hot Dogs,
we
yeah.
heckled people for like 2.5 hours in
We
the
sing a song and go,
90-degree sun.
"Thomas's
So
Hot Dogs, get a little wiener in you."
Did you get free hot dogs?
Yes, it was awesome. They were really good. I wonder whatever happened to those guys.
And then can you talk about a little bit about your like live performance, what you kind of try to exude during your
Our live show is super energetic, super passionate, and fun, I think, is just a really good word to describe. Like what we try to bring to the show is it reminds me of like old school rock shows that you would see, like watching videos of like Tom Petty or, just classic rock. It's like all my favorite musicians just put on really good shows. And I think what's great about our band is that we have really forefront people because he'll come from behind the drum set and come up front and play saxophone, and it's something that a lot of people don't really get to see in other bands. The drummer is always kind of hidden, and he is able to come out front and still show off a little bit, and it's really fun. And all four of us sing, and then there's 2 female front people, so I think there's a lot of elements that come together to really make the show just unique and fun.
And you guys performed at Willie Nelson's 4th of July picnic. Can you talk about what that experience was like?
Yeah, that was kind of spontaneous. We just my dad was playing that day. He's in another band, and we started doing a sound check, and it was kind of like, okay, cool, this is great. We get to be the first band on the stage, and so yeah, that was fun.
Do you guys have any pre-show rituals that you do before you go on?
A lot of like vocal warm-ups and like hand stretches. That's one thing that we've learned just to really take care of the body, and it's all it's a machine, it's an instrument, so we try to just really focus and stretch out before we go run around a bunch.
Yeah, and then can you just tell our audience why they should tune in and where we can find you next and what you hope they take away from listening to that?
Yeah, I hope that they take away how much passion and how much we love what we do and how thankful we are, and to be able to do it as a family is just even more rewarding. And I'm looking forward to sharing this with more people, and I hope they respond well to it. Would you?
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get a lot of people out November 18th at the Mohawk for our release. We're going to be with Croy and the Boys and Cartwright, so that should be a heck of a show. Ready? It's going to be... We got a lot of people flying into town. It should be a good one.
Yes. Would you like to
don't miss it.
But yeah, I hope people check us out online at the Texas KGB.com. You can follow us on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Instagram. And all of our music is available on Spotify and iTunes.